And we are live at Chief Outsiders CEO Growth Talks. Welcome. I'm Pete Hayes from Chief Outsiders, one of the principals. And we are thrilled to welcome Chi Yau from FuelRod, the CEO, founder, and entrepreneur that's got so many great stories to share with us today. And we're also joined by his fractional CMO, Adriana Lynch. We call her Audrey for short. And so welcome all of you. By the way, feel free to jump in with comments or questions at any time. We're just going to jump right in because you might be asking yourself, what is a fuel rod? It's a great name. And then you'll probably go, oh yeah, I've seen those, right? So Chi, why don't you give us a story? What's a fuel rod, and give us a little background.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for having us. FuelRod, as you may have seen this in high traffic locations such as major airports and major theme parks, is our power on the go solution for mobile phones. Think of it as swappable power on the go. So you get this FuelRod, which is a portable charger, but have the unique capability to allow you to carry it as backup power for your mobile phone. But when you are on the go, when even your phone and battery power both are drained, you can come to one of our kiosks nationwide and to swap a depleted fuel rod for a fully charged fuel rod.
So that's crazy, right? So I'm out of fuel, I'm out of juice getting off a plane. I forgot to plug in, or the plane didn't have that facility. I'm in the Oakland airport. I see one of your kiosks. I go, oh great, I'll be good in the taxi, or I'll be good in the Uber, right? And I pick up one of these fuel rods, and if I have one with me already, I just swap it out and get the new one. Is that how it
Correct.
works? Yeah.
Correct. And you also can keep the fuel rod as your own portable battery charger and recharging in a hotel room also, and just like your regular portable charger, except we have this magic of swap.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so if I keep it, and you were telling me the story the other day. So if I do decide, hey, I can charge this up myself because I may not always be near a kiosk, I can keep that my fuel rod. But then should it break, or maybe I just don't like it anymore, I can always just swap it in and get a fresh one. And then what do you do with the old ones?
Yeah, and indeed, let's say not just on the go, you need a boost in your battery, but also for whatever reason, say if you drop it on vacation in the sand or in the pool, you can bring it back, replace. That's the second benefit we have, is actually allow you to replace it. And at the end of what happens if you say, hey, this is a fuel rod at the end of life, what am I going to do with it? Give it back to us, we replace, then we recycle for you. So that's the third advantage of fuel rod swap, is to allow you to recycle it. It's in our hand, and we will responsibly recycle it for you.
So some companies talk about being responsible and renewable and sustainable, but that's literally the third R in those three R's then, and that's something you feel good about as a consumer, yeah?
That's right. The 3R give us what I call the triple win. Win for the consumer, lower costs, and feel good about what they're doing, and good for the planet Earth, and also good for the fuel rod stockholders.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to dig into a couple of things. So you were born in China, but you got both your degrees, double E degrees, in Texas, right?
Right, Texas Longhorn.
You're a Texas Longhorn, which is great. One of my daughters is a Longhorn graduate, so it's kind of fun. And I think we want to tell kind of the original story, but a lot of people right now they're saying, oh yeah, I've seen the fuel rods. I've seen them in the airports. I remember those. Oh, I bought that. That saved my skin one time. And so then there's this next question, because airports 3 years ago, overnight, shut down. And this is one of the reasons why we want to have you on the program, because your business has found a way to not only survive the COVID moment, but maybe do pretty well. Can you just describe what happened and how you addressed the problem of not having customers sit on airplanes?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, as you can imagine, we start with the best use case: people on the go, people travel on vacation or for business. All right, that's our bread and butter of our business. And in fact, people, early investor ask, what if you have a something like 9/11? We say, okay, yeah, we need to think about it. We are already doing things about it to try to make ourselves as lean as possible. But really, proof is in the pudding. We could never imagine a once in a century event like COVID hit us. And so we'll say, hey, let's put our worth where my mouth is in terms of actually, all right, we already thought about this. We need to have a very lean startup infrastructure, which we did. We're very cognizant about that. We have always tried to variabilize our costs. No sales, very low monthly costs that we have to pay. So a lot of variability of the cost is our main reason for being able to weather this storm.
And I think that's Chi frozen.
I think he froze a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you want to fill in some blanks, Audrey? You were there.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So as she said, part of the magic is the fact that the business is very well structured in terms of variable costs. And when the change in the consumer behavior hit, that's when he called on Chief Outsiders and we joined forces. We try to look at how can we continue with the magic of the swap and continue this relationship with the consumer until we emerge from the pandemic. And the thought there was, I believe Chi is going to come back. The thought there was, listen, the swap magic is incredible, but people can't swap something they haven't bought. So
so you have to find another distribution channel?
Other distribution channels, and Amazon is our first step on the distribution channels. And obviously we continue expanding the network of the kiosks, but once we emerged from the pandemic and people got into the travel revenge and it started traveling so much, I mean, the growth took off because they knew that they could buy FuelRod as they planned for their trips on Amazon. And as a result, we doubled the revenue of the company from pre-pandemic.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. So, okay. So I know there was distribution channels. So when you were on Amazon, you didn't have a kiosk. So what was the offering on Amazon?
The offering on Amazon are different SKUs. So on Amazon, you can buy one FuelRod and extra cables because God knows that all the kids lose the cables in the house, right? I don't know about your household, but my house, cables disappear. Or we sell a 2-pack and a 3-pack because in researching our consumers, getting some insights, our very first year, we learned that the consumers that love and adore FuelRod, they have multiple electronics in the household, multiple kits. So they don't buy onesies and twosies. They buy 2 or 3 packs.
Is it the double, triple pack? Is that more popular than the single or just happens to?
Way more popular than the single.
How about that? That sounds like they're affordable then. So it's not like it's a big bump, it's a few more bucks and you're on your way.
Oh no, on Amazon you can buy a 2-pack for $25. Go there.
Okay, so the other so there was a kind of a product move there. I love thinking in terms of expansion dimensions, but you also had new venues that not just a distribution channel as in procure, but new places where kiosks were showing up. So what were some of those places?
Hospitals.
Wow.
Believe it or not, in the waiting room of the emergency room.
And you're not carrying your charger when you're all of a sudden you're in emergency, right?
You are not thinking about it. Oh, here comes Chi again. And the nursing stations because the nurses need it so much. So
So
She's
Chi, I think you did that on purpose just so we could have you back next week. Are we good?
I'm sorry about this. Somehow my background computer got rebooted. I apologize. But anyway, yeah. So
Audrey filled us in
my computer
on the
just
Amazon move. Yeah, Audrey filled us in on the Amazon move, and we just started talking about additional venues where kiosks were popping up, and she mentioned emergency rooms. What other places did you find were eager to have FuelRod kiosks?
Yeah, that's just anything. I think right now what we're focusing on is because of the COVID, we realized that our distribution need to be diversified. Audrey probably already, actually with a lot of help from Audrey, and we actually broke into a non-brick and mortar type of placement, such as online distribution, including Shopify and Amazon. But also, we like to diversify outside of the emergency use environment, where it's like airport or a theme park, and also it's very difficult for people to get access to in order for them to enjoy the benefit. Remember, one of the benefit is green, right? Sustainability. But I'm not going to go to a theme park to swap a depleted battery to recycle, right? So that's the
okay.
Yeah. So our major process is actually breaking out of that, actually expand into the maybe the future of ATM, that kind of a ubiquity.
Hey, Leslie asks, do you ever have kiosks at live concert venues? Seems like a great idea, except for maybe security issues. Is that on the radar?
Yes, we are actually, there's so many opportunities out there. In fact, we have multiple people actually say, hey, music festival is a great use case. We're definitely in the spirit of a diversification, addressing those special event venues as well.
Okay, cool. What is your most prominent event venue these days? Is it one of the theme parks?
Yes, we will not go into the specific names, but
okay,
suffice to say, all the major theme park in the U.S., the major ones, we're all in them. Yeah.
Okay, so we can't say, and I guess I can't say anything.
Yeah, contractually, some.
If I was on one coast, maybe in Florida somewhere or in Southern California, there's a good chance I went.
That's right.
They're full of theme parks, right? Okay.
That's right.
That's good to know. That's really good to know.
All the major theme parks you can think of, pretty much. Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. How did you get the idea for FuelRod? You're an entrepreneur. You're a double E tech guy from a prominent school. You're obviously really, really bright. How did you come up with the idea, or how did you find yourself in the FuelRod business?
Yeah, I guess the light bulb. Sometimes it's very hard to predict when the light bulb turn around, the proverbial light bulb. But there was some background for this. You know, my co-founder Joe Yeagley and myself founded the company, but before then, we both worked for a high power rechargeable battery startup. The startup, like many startup, sometimes cannot fail in going to commercial. So we went our own ways, and at that time, also my son is growing and starting to use a lot of toys. And we deplete so many batteries. I kind of feel bad about it and had to throw them away. The AA alkaline batteries. I say, you know what? Okay, these can be rechargeable. So why can't I just recharge it, pretend this is a AA, and give it to you, and then you use it. When you finish using it, give it back to me. I'll give you another one. And so that's the idea of using rechargeable battery to emulate a alkaline disposable battery. That's the seed of the idea. And then and that around the same time, and the smartphone, iPhones, and become very popular. We say, hey, that actually is faster way of getting traction, because the consumption rate of energy is much faster with the smartphones. So then we pivot from swapping household AA batteries to portable chargers.
Okay. Well, that's unbelievable. And so how is the product line? We've talked a little bit about that, how you've packaged some things together for Amazon. Any other product innovation changes along the way, or has it been pretty much mostly a distribution, I guess, both distribution and buyer type venues and what have you? But how has the product changed over the years?
Yeah, we have our primary growth opportunity are in previously just talked about expanding the distribution, right? Make it more easily accessible for people wherever they live, and the second one is, in fact, diversification of the product line. Just even refer back to the simple alkaline battery. You have AA, AAA, C's, and D's. All right. So similarly, in portable power business, you have the mini ones like the FuelRod, very portable, and you have mid-sized one. You have a wired charging with a cable. Recently, you have wireless charging. So there's plenty of opportunity of product diversification to boost the revenue. And mind you, the lowly battery in portable charger actually is $27 billion market, actually.
Yep.
No kidding. Wow. So other business owners that are watching this, they always just love to hear, the kind of lessons that you maybe have learned along the way. Do you have some words of wisdom for our other founder owners?
Yes, I think that all entrepreneurs probably share and learn the same lesson. It's just so much harder than what you read from the newspaper and book, and you really need to have that determination. One of the recent article I read, that one of the very famous well-known CEO is addressing a Stanford audience: be prepared to suffer. Okay, so that's one of the things I think everybody knows about it. But I think one of the things I learned is that we really, as entrepreneurs, need to have a vision, a very clear vision. That vision very rarely change. So is the strategy to achieve that vision. That strategy, it's okay to be deliberate about it. Audrey, sometimes when we talked a while ago, you can make a decision in 2 hours. By definition, it's not a strategy. All right. It's half-baked idea. So really deliberate with your management team. Everybody share and resonate with that same strategy. And don't be wishy-washy about it. Yet, by the same time, I told you about the story, we need to pivot. Okay, don't be so foolhardy to confuse stubbornness with flexibility. So pivot. We did at the early case, we talked about COVID. We pivoted from brick and mortar to also to other venues for distribution, such as online. All right, have the flexibility. Admit the fact you don't know in advance everything. Look at the reality and make adjustment. But the FuelRod vision is still the same, by the way. How we get there sometimes change, but you cannot chase a shiny object every other month, right? A different one. So execution is also very important.
Yeah, it's hard to think of an industry. You're basically you were in the travel industry in some respects. You were at a point of need. There you were. Somebody had a need. There they were. So like restaurants, a lot of restaurants had a terrible time. The ones that managed a way to change their menu and allow for take home made it through COVID. The other ones, some of them didn't make it. But that's kind of what you did. you did take home, you did Amazon, and you added to your menu, and so that's fantastic. Audrey, did you want to add something to that?
No, I think the way Chi not only implements the vision but brings the team together is incredibly Chi. It's such an honor to be part of FuelRod, I have to say. For those who have worked in teams, since we got together during COVID, right, Chi? We established a vision. Chi established a vision. We worked together as a team on the strategy. We put together, in our case, a marketing plan, and we have actually implemented the marketing plan that we devised every year, and the name of the game was excellence and execution. And let me just make it real for you. The whole marketing team for FuelRod is me and Claudia Friscas, which is the VP of Marketing and Distribution. All the two of us. Yeah. It is possible. So part of the entrepreneurship is that ability to be strategic and then drive excellence and execution. And she runs a tight ship on that.
So Audrey had mentioned that the business doubled post-COVID from pre-COVID. Was that in line with your growth plans all along, or was that an acceleration, or was it a catch-up? There had to have been some catch-up with the drop, but where did that just line up in your growth expectations or priorities and expectations? Yeah.
I think there's some definitely pent up demand. But however, even as of today, a couple of years after emerging from, we're still growing, and we thought it may be a pent up demand or overshoot, then come back down and oscillate to normal. It's not a straight line just going up. So far, it's still going up year over the year. Okay, I attribute to a lot of that is to the good work that the marketing team have done under Audrey's leadership, because a lot of people, if you ask, have you heard of FuelRod? I actually was surprised, you never heard of FuelRod because, actually a lot of people never heard of FuelRod. And so actually marketing is, that's one thing I learned is so important. All right. How do we get the message across? How do we get this, the magic of swap across to bigger audience? And that's why I'm a huge marketing fan.
Well, that's great to hear an engineer say that. I'm also an engineer, as we discussed the other day, but and now I'm a marketing person along with Audrey and all of our other folks. I know you have an important event underway that you're not able to say a whole bunch about, but there have been a lot of people that have asked you, they fall in love with the product, they fall in love with the company, and they've asked you, hey, how could I participate? And so you're responding to that.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So in fact, and this is actually a financial front democratization of financing that was actually started in Obama's Jobs Act back in 2012, and which allow startup companies to raise funding not just from traditional venture capital, which angel investors and private equity, and which still play a major role, but also the regular people, right? And what if they do the research, they like your product, they also would like to contribute to your growth, and they actually come up with the way the Jobs Act allow companies and smaller investors, non-credited investors, still under the SEC protection to actually invest in vetted companies. And in our case, we actually is as you know, direct-to-consumer business. So therefore, we over the years have received many requests for people to say, hey, how is FuelRod listed? How do I invest in FuelRod? and these are happy customers, and they ask additional questions of investing. So we say, hey, why don't we do this and basically do two things for the price of one. Number one, get our enthusiastic customer who want to support us through investing and do that and actually enjoy the fruit of our success. The number two, obviously, and we have additional fundraising and can actually together grow with our new investors, who we hope also become our brand ambassadors, right? Even more skin in the game.
And Malia, if you could go ahead and put that URL up. Yeah. So if people are interested in that, this is where you find out more. Let me ask you. You mentioned that, and Audrey had mentioned that she had come in, I guess, around the COVID timeframe. There are people that are listening to this that are trying to figure out, how to take their marketing to another level, or how to recover from a challenge, how to just keep the wheels on because they're growing so fast. Can you just give them some advice on how maybe even how to go about checking out a fractional executive, a fractional CMO for their business?
Yeah. Yes. In fact, we have one of the things that I attribute to our success is actually get the best talent, the top-notch talent, the best brain in the country through fractional professionals. Our first success case is actually we had the good fortune working together with a chief outsider, in this case, Audrey, in impeccable pedigree and the industry experience. As a startup, obviously, we cannot afford to have full-time to get the caliber of the talent and being able to afford to pay for that. As you can imagine, by the way, that's one of the reasons we survived COVID, because we got really top-notch talent, but without, paying the full price, right? So in fact, it would be underutilizing a chief outsider, for example, fractional CMO, just to work for FuelRod. That doesn't make sense, right?
Well,
yeah.
Let me jump in and ask Audrey. Audrey, he's being very gracious to you, but I know you have a superpower weapon that Chi doesn't have any hesitation to ask for more helpings of. And you know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about the peer reviews. I call it the firing squad. But
so what is that?
We love that, right, Chi? The problems or the issues that our clients hire us to solve are not easy. If they were easy, they would have solved it. So at any point in time, I call on my peers, and 20 to 25 other CMOs join me to just spend a full hour or more thinking nothing but about FuelRod. And it's wonderful, right, Chi? They enhance our experiences. Alone, we can't do anything, but with the tribe.
Well, that's great. And I don't want to make we're not here for a commercial, but I know you've had great success with that part of the process. So I'm going to wrap things up and just congratulate you on keeping a strong company and getting it stronger through a tough period of time. And it's kind of like, hey, we've heard this before, right? Vision is so important, and strategy, not an afternoon strategy, but a fully ironed out strategy that your team is fully bought in on. And yet you still have to maintain flexibility when things happen and you need to pivot. And the thing that was most painful to hear is, get ready and be prepared to suffer, because things can happen. But if that's your mindset, when things do go south, then you find ways to be flexible and change. Is that kind of your message?
That's right. Yeah. You summarized the P very nicely. Clearly, your marketing genius there. That's a great messaging.
Well,
thank you.
Anyway, we really appreciate having you here, and wish you all the best on this crowdfunding exercise, which was fun for all the rest of us to find a way to participate with a great company that has a huge future ahead of it. So, anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next CEO Growth Talks. And John says, I've been a customer since the very beginning. Thank you, John. Great product. I'm now invested with Start Engine. Hey, that's perfect. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. All right.